Welcome back. It's your host, Gabe Morales. As many of you know, I don't just put out a bunch of information on people who some consider degenerates. I don't look at the individuals I've described them in videos that way. I just look at them as people who lost their way. We're all sinners. I know I've sinned and I continue to sin, but I try to do the right thing. Basically, I feel I am a good person. I try to be a good father, a good grandfather, a good person in the community. I guess you could say a good citizen. As I've interviewed thousands and thousands of people who've been incarcerated, I found that most of them didn't start off doing wrong. They just lost their way, like I said. Some of us have an inner voice that tells us not to do things. Some of us choose to ignore that voice, and that's unfortunate because usually we can give our own best advice or our own worst advice. Today, I want to talk briefly about morals. The dictionary defines morals as relating to the principles of right versus wrong in behavior. This is basic ethics. I believe that all children are born with a heart of gold. Like Earth, Wind, and Fire says, the way of the world sometimes makes their heart grow cold. So as parents, as elders, I believe we should be teaching younger individuals the conception of right behavior versus wrong behavior. This is also basic morals. Now, I had one person say that I was crooked, and they believed all cops are crooked. This individual seemed to be very bitter. Probably a former convict that was wrong or maybe even beaten by officers and now has a stereotype that they're all that way. I think that's a gross stereotype. And I know some officers who have referred to inmates as degenerates, dirtbags, losers, and so forth. I think that's also a gross stereotype. Neither one of those exaggerations are true in reality. I can see how some people believe that all officers are crooked, especially when you hear things like this deputy from Riverside who was busted with over 100 pounds of fentanyl, a drug which is destroying our communities. I've said it many times before, power and money corrupts. Officers have an enormous amount of power over other people, which can be abused. Many officers in jurisdictions like Riverside, where he's from, get paid pretty well. This to me comes down to basic greed for more money and lack of morals. You also have a politician out of New Jersey who has been accused of bribery and misusing his office as far as power and greed to make more money through special interests. This morning, I saw a post on a Chicano Pride Instagram account showing the leader of Hamas calling for worldwide acts of violence against the Zionists or State of Israel. I could not believe the amount of posters commenting that they were looking forward to it. Some even joking that they were getting the popcorn ready. Where are these people's morals? Do they have no Christian or human values left? I understand that some Chicanos or Mexican Americans in this country still wish there had not been a war 175 years ago and believe that the Southwest U.S. was stolen in a similar way that Palestine was stolen. Here in Hawaii, I often hear Hawaiian kingdom advocates talk about ousting all haole oppressors from their stolen land. If you did not already know, there was a fairly bloodless coup that took place on January 17, 1893, that overthrew the monarchy here in Hawaii. Both of those wars, acts of greed, corruption, and acts against humanity. But the annihilation of the Jewish people and state of Israel, or taking back the Southwest and going back under Mexican rule, or kicking out all non-Hawaiians, would all those things make everything hunky-dory? My guess is that most things would be worse, and not the utopian fantasy that many claim would come under these changes. I believe what happened in Israel on October 7th, 2023 was another horrible day in human history. As they say, it was their 9/11, with many there still alive who remember the Holocaust. What happened there was similar to what has been going on in Ukraine, mostly with Putin's hands having blood on them, or could be compared to any one of the dozens of worldwide dictators that seem to have no morality or humanity and oppress their own people or anybody they can. Surely the issue of Gaza and the West Bank must be addressed by Israel and should have been addressed better previously. Palestinians live in poverty and misery. Palestinian children deserve a better quality of life, free of religious indoctrination and abuse by anybody. Current polls show that over 50% of Americans believe the overall state of moral values in this country and in the world are poor. I believe that we have lost our way in many ways. If you saw the recent video by Dr. Felicia Nace, she addresses some of these issues in regards to education. I've always said that we need to take care of the mind, body, and spirit. Education is food for the mind. Less stress is also good for the mind. Eating right, sleeping right, and proper exercise can help take care of the body. whether it be religion, while taking into consideration people of other faiths, praying or meditating, focusing on love, and caring for ourselves and others is all good for the human spirit. I've heard some people state these are the end of days. I don't know about that. People have been saying that for thousands of years. But I think what we can do is make the most out of our ending days as people and show a little more respect for all people, trying to gain a better understanding of each of our needs and to have better morals. Do I believe Israel, the Ukraine, and the U.S. government have also committed atrocities? Absolutely, I do. But to me, having morals is distinguishing between right and wrong and realizing that two wrongs don't make a right. To think about others who may not believe or worship like me, who may not be of my own race or ethnic group, or of my political party, or from my own country. It is about being honest with ourselves and others. It is about showing respect, responsibility for our actions and statements. It is about having compassion and showing forgiveness to others while still holding them accountable. Thank you for listening, and God bless.